So, hi, Sophie and Jadwiga. You are here at the 13th annual conference of AHRMIO, and you led this afternoon a very interesting workshop about, title was Women Travelers Health, Safety and Security Awareness, and I heard that you introduced 5 important topics. Could you give us more information about that?
Sure. Well, our five topics are really based around 5 key principles of security and health when traveling. So the first one is about knowing your profile. So understanding what are you like as a traveler. Are you someone who's very outgoing? Are you someone who stays in? Do you speak the language? Anything that might affect the way you're perceived when you're traveling. The second one is around researching where you're going, your destination. So knowing, are there any particular security risks, any particular health risks? What are the kind of things you're going to have to be prepared for when you're in that destination? The third one is around being a hard target. So when you are in that destination, what are the mitigation strategies that you can put into place to make any of those, to reduce any of those risks so that the likelihood of you being impacted them is reduced? The fourth one is about confidence, that confidence can go a long way when you're traveling. It may be in terms of saying no to something, is just the very simple one, learning how to say no thank you in a polite but confident way to avoid people sort of with harassment or anything like this. And the final one we have is about staying calm. So in any situation, if any situation does arrive, whether it's a health situation or a security situation, and that could be anything from losing a passport to a mugging, is to stay calm, to find a safe place, and to reach out for help.
And we started with a little test because we wanted to know if people are aware that there are, for example, gender differences also with travel health. And it was quite interesting for me to see that the audience thought that there were no differences. In fact, there are, and we mentioned only like 2 diseases, for example, gastroenteritis, and for example, where women are more likely to have a gastrointestinal disorder when they're traveling, and also, for example, malaria, whereas men are more prone to suffer from vector-borne diseases when they are abroad. And actually this was not really, the audience was not really aware about these potential differences.
Interesting. Exactly my point. How did people react to these topics that you introduced?
Well, they were very interested.
Yes.
as far as my perception is.
Yeah, I mean, what people said is a lot of them had, that there's a certain level of complacency, perhaps, especially around women's travel, and especially, you know, perhaps women who are accustomed to traveling a lot, is they think they're already, you know, aware of most things, but what they said is that after the workshop it had brought up a lot of aspects that they'd actually not considered before, and a lot of messages which they thought would be needed to be transmitted to a much larger audience. And in fact we had kind of a little breakout group at one stage, because there was a group of people who really wanted to talk about training and building awareness and what was the best way to transmit that message to their people, to their employees, to groups of people within their organization.
Because they have a lot of means in place where they pass on information, but they do not have like interactive workshops. And this is certainly, I think, a takeaway from that workshop, that training about these factors would need to be more interactive instead of like only passing the information. Quite interesting.
Just a point, as experts by International SOS, what do you think? I saw that in this very feminine thematic with feminine leaders, truck leaders. I saw some guys, I saw some men in the room. Do you think that there is really a difference of perception between a man and a woman, having to transmit, to understand also what the differences between the genders are?
Well, there was one of the men who was attending the workshop is dealing a lot with gender topics, in his organization. So I think gender differences is something that concerns both men and women. So it's not only limited to women, and I think also men could benefit from taking a closer look at that.
Sure.
I think one of the things as well, I mean, at least when we're looking, as Jadwiga already talked about the fact that men and women are prone to different kind of diseases. The same on the security side, we often see, although there are a lot of security situations that impact men and women in the same way, nevertheless things like bag theft, sexual assault, sexual harassment is much higher incidence in women, so there are extra risks and there are extra precautions that have to take that in. I think the fact that there were men there as well, I mean, historically perhaps security and in some sense medicine as well has perhaps been a more male-dominated field previously, but what we are seeing now is a lot more women coming up, a lot more female doctors, a lot more female security professionals.
And a lot more women travelers.
And a lot more women travelers,
right.
Yes, 45% of travelers are women now, and so we are seeing a growth in organizations wanting to have things specifically for women because it is a demographic we can easily section out and target with specific messages.
Okay, thank you. It was the second workshop. I think last year you also made one, International SOS, on another thematic. So we hope we can welcome you again next year for such a workshop. Thank you very much.